Hello, and welcome to the second annual Safety Supplier Summit. For those who may not know me, I'm Derek Jones, Director of Worldwide Workplace Health and Safety for Amazon's Global Specialty Fulfillment Retail Operations, also known as GSF, as well as our Facilities, Engineering, and Construction teams, also known as FEC. In this role, I have the privilege of overseeing our relationships with many of you. And so I want to start off by saying a big, huge thank you. None of us will be here today talking about safety at Amazon if it weren't for all of your hard work, your dedication to making us the company that we are today. Now, I like to tell everyone that F in my title really stands for family, and that's what each and every one of you are to us today. Now, we're scattered across the globe, operating in 24 different time zones, handling different operations, and following varied government regulations and requirements. But we are bound by a shared commitment to ensuring the safety of every single person at every single site every day. Now, families look out for one another. They trust one another, and then they go that extra mile for one another. Families empower, and also they challenge each other because they know that they're always stronger when they lift each other up. Now, you've all gone above and beyond for us since day one, and we're committed to going above and beyond for you too. Now, in a few minutes, you'll hear from Heather MacDougall, our Vice President of Workplace Health and Safety. She'll talk to you about Amazon's key safety priorities, and she'll discuss a few of our latest technology advancements that will help make our workplace safer for everyone, including you. Now, we've named a few of our technologies after iconic Muppet Baby characters. And for those of you who grew up with the Muppets like me, you remember that they were all siblings, a group that came together for a common purpose to seek good in everything. Now, one thing that they were all siblings, and they used skits to laugh and to teach valuable lessons. I think of our partnerships with all of you the very same way. Now, we all come together from varying different backgrounds with a myriad of remits and responsibilities. We all learn from one another, and we establish best practices to achieve a common goal. And that common goal is to keep everyone safe. Now, I will challenge each and every one of you that can hear my voice to find a more noble mission on earth. Now, we've made incredible strides together, and I like to run through just a few of those examples of how your supplier support has helped advance Amazon safety. So number one, our personal protective equipment, also known as PPE. Our vendors stock our sites with safety equipment and PPE inventory to help ensure our associates can work safely. This was never more important than it was during the pandemic when PPE entered the general public's lexicon. Now, suddenly, even our children knew what PPE was, and my children remind me every day not to walk out without my mask. Now, large janitorial teams helped us mitigate common hazards such as slip, trips, and falls, a significant cause of our workplace injuries across all industries. Number three, RME and BBM technicians support us with hazard mitigation at sites, ensuring the safest work environments possible. Our contractors are helping us launch robotics technology that will reduce the musculoskeletal disorders, also known as MSDs, which are the leading causes of injuries at Amazon and at organizations all across the U.S. Now, we've re-imaged forklift, or also known as PIT, powered industrial trucks, by partnering with PIT OEMs to develop collision avoidance technology that was recently named a finalist for the Green Cross for Safety Innovation Award. And Heather's going to talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. In 2019, we launched a climate pledge to use 100% renewable energy by 2030. Amazon is the largest corporate buyer of renewable energy in the world, and we have 62 utility-scale wind and solar projects and 125 solar rooftops in fulfillment and sort centers around the globe. Now, these projects have the capacity to generate over 6.9 gigawatts and deliver more than 20 million megawatt hours of energy annually. Now, thanks to your support, we will reach our goal by 2025, 5 years ahead of our original target. Now, we've installed electric vehicle chargers at sites, furthering our efforts to uphold our climate pledge commitments. Now, there are countless of other examples I can sit up here and take some time talking to you about today about how you've lifted us up when never failing to ground us to our common purpose. Thank you. We expect nothing short of excellence from all of you, and we know that you are committed to giving us nothing less. Now, there are additional commitments that we need from each and every one of you, commitments that Heather will go over today. We will hold you accountable to live up to our standards, but guess what? We expect you to do the same for us. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Heather MacDougall. In her role as Vice President of Worldwide Workplace Health and Safety at Amazon, Heather oversees WHS and relentlessly pursues the highest standards to ensure that we become Earth's safest place to work. Now, her team uses Amazon's innovation, technology, and data insights to uphold our responsibility to keep each of its employees and partners safe. Her vision is to synthesize leading health and safety expertise with Amazon's tech capability and relentless innovation to create new industry benchmarks. Now, prior to joining Amazon in April 2019, Heather served as the chairman of the Occupational Safety and Health Review Commission, where she also served as commissioner. She was nominated to the commission by President Obama and elevated to chairman by President Trump. Prior to her appointment to the commission, Heather had over 20 years of experience representing employees throughout the U.S. with regards to matters involving labor, employment, and occupational safety and health law. Now, early in her career, she was Associate General Counsel to the HR Policy Association, where she served as the organization's amicus curiae in the U.S. Courts of Appeals and Supreme Court cases. Heather received her BA from the University of Wisconsin and a JD from Marquette University Law School. It has been my pleasure to be able to work underneath Heather on her team, and please join me in welcoming Heather MacDougall. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Derek, for that kind introduction and for sharing the stage with me today. I'm honored to be with you today to kick off the second annual Amazon Supplier Safety Summit. Looking across our operations, we are thankful to have a network of nearly 6,000 global suppliers that we are proud to call our partners. Amazon is committed to ensuring everyone, from our hardworking Amazon employees to our talented and specialized suppliers, go home safely every day, everywhere we operate. And that wouldn't be possible without all of you. Your role is integral to our success. In addition to being key partners and helping us deliver smiles, over the last 19 months, you've also made it possible for hundreds of millions of people to receive essential goods. Because of your partnership, our customers have had confidence during a time of great uncertainty. When I spoke with you last year, I shared my vision for workplace health and safety at Amazon, and I talked extensively about how we rapidly adjusted and innovated to address safety throughout the pandemic. Today, I want to talk about how Amazon moves forward. And while the pandemic is still a reality, safety will not wait for it to become a memory. Together, we have to think about what's next for our employees, our communities, and you, our suppliers and partners. Next slide. Some of you may have been with Amazon for many years, and you remember perhaps the humble beginnings that began in a garage in Bellevue, Washington. And some of you may have joined us when we had our first fulfillment center on 549 Dawson Street. Today, we are the third largest employer in the world with 1.3 million employees in 52 different countries, operating more than 2,000 fulfillment centers, sort centers, air hubs, grocery stores, retail centers, pharmacy sites, neighborhood health centers, robotics facilities, and delivery stations, to name a few. And we are still growing. Recently, Amazon announced it is the largest private investor in infrastructure in the United States, with $36 billion spent in 2020. I'm thrilled to see that you've grown right along with us. In fact, you actually outnumber us. We have 1.5 million contractor employees across our global operations. As Derek mentioned, you are indeed a part of the Amazon family. In my role, I have the privilege of overseeing an incredible team of more than 6,200 health and safety professionals around the world. Our team uses Amazon's innovation and data insights combined with some exceptional experience and leadership in the safety industry to ensure the highest safety standards. We make these types of investments to ensure that we continue to look around corners and innovate alongside with you. We know we have work to do, but we also know that safety excellence is a steady march from compliance to raising the bar for the entire industry. We are proud to be on our journey, and we're grateful to have each of you along with us. Since 1994, we've diligently pursued our vision of being Earth's most customer-centric company. We've been driven to deliver better, further, and faster. We've invented, reinvented, and reimagined to give customers an experience that no one really thought was possible. And we've made history, thanks in part to the support of all of you and what you've done for us over the years. In 2021, we realized we needed a new vision for safety, a vision that complements the customer obsession that has made us who we are. We will always strive to be Earth's most customer-centric company, but in his final letter to shareholders last spring, Jeff Bezos laid out a new vision that prioritizes safety as much as the customer experience. We want to become Earth's best employer and Earth's safest place to work. Since day one, safety has been integral to everything that we do at Amazon. Again, every day in every operation across every country, as long as we operate. And everyone here knows that our commitment is steadfast and unwavering, and you have been just as committed to helping us achieve safe operations. But as all of us know, bringing that vision to life takes constant investment and diligence from every Amazonian. Blue badge or yellow badge. Safety literally takes all of us. Next slide. You may have heard of Amazon's famed leadership principles. The leadership principles are the values that all Amazonians uphold. On July 1st, we introduced 2 new leadership principles, and safety is included as a key leadership priority. For those of you who may not have seen our new leadership principles, I'd like to show them to you. And they include strive to be Earth's best employer. And it starts out by saying that leaders work every day to create a safer, more productive, higher performing, more diverse, and more just work environment. And it goes on, I'll let you read that leadership principle. The second one is success and scale bring broad responsibility. We started in a garage, but we're not there anymore. We are big, we impact the world, and we are far from perfect. I'll let you read that one as well. It's fitting to me that safety leads the list of qualities all leaders must embrace. Amazon obsesses over our customers, and our customers include our employees, our communities, and you, our suppliers. We expect the same level of safety obsession from you, our partners. In my view, humility is a critical component of the second new leadership principle, and safety and humility must go hand in hand. At Amazon, we recognize that while our commitment to safety is real, our work is never finished. We need to remain humble and consider our journey and our place in the world. Great scale and size bring great responsibility, and you can all help us remain mindful of our impact. Since our founding, Amazon has continued to raise the bar for customer experience. We firmly believe that with your help, we are raising the bar for safety too. Since day one, we have been building an environment where safety is a mindset, not just a checked box. And its inclusion in our leadership principles will ensure everyone keeps safety top of mind and prioritize it above all else. You stand shoulder to shoulder with Amazonians across the globe, and we expect you to hold us accountable not only for following safety protocols, but also for living Amazon's values. And I expect the same from all of you too. And I know that you will deliver, as you have shown us time and time again. Next slide. Every safety advancement we make at Amazon is aimed at making our workplaces safer for all of us. Our safety management approach can be broken down into 3 categories: improvement, investment, and innovation. It fuels what we like to call the Amazon safety flywheel, with each action feeding into the next, creating a continuous cycle that drives a safe work environment. And we think about safety in every step, from planning and launching new buildings to the operations that take place in them every day. And we work hand in hand with you to make sure our efforts are built around safety. In 2020, despite the challenges that we experienced from the pandemic, we launched 642 new sites and completed several major site extensions globally. And so far this year, we've launched 426 sites with plans to launch hundreds more. As you may know, up to 18 months before opening a new site, we scrutinize every safety and engineering detail to limit potential hazards and lower risk. Many of you are at our side throughout this process, and I hope you always speak up if you see something we have missed, or if you feel that we need to dive deeper into an issue, because I know we will. When designing new sites and equipment, our engineers rigorously consider safety across design, construction, commission, operation, and maintenance. We use 3D modeling to simulate and address potential safety hazards, such as those that are related to machine guarding, ergonomics, and industrial hygiene. We have strict standards for equipment and machine design, installation, testing, and compliance. And we regularly review these standards with all of you. And thank you for helping us adhere to these high standards. And thank you for performing all of the installation self-checks Amazon requires so we can immediately address issues. Because of your involvement in this process, we have reduced the number of post-installation corrections by 68% in 2020. Prior to approving a site launch, we ensure that all areas, processes, and equipment pass our safety approval process, a process that you all have helped us refine. We verify compliance through on-site risk assessments and safety inspections that include 2,500 checks covering more than 70 topics. Post-launch design reviews are completed after every new site is launched to continuously improve future builds. And we completed more than 400 new site reviews in 2020, and we've completed 358 so far this year. We've made improvements to areas such as equipment maintenance access, lighting and audible alarms, and pedestrian traffic routes. Our reliability, maintenance, and engineering team of 35,000 employees and contractors, many of you are with us today, maintain almost 4 million pieces of equipment globally to ensure we have the highest safe work environments. High-risk operations involve electrical safety, work at heights, hot work, and these are actively managed with risk assessments and controls to keep employees and partners safe. For tasks that require specific expertise, we engage specialized independent contractors, some of whom are here with us today, to ensure rigorous safety protocols. And then even after a building is launched, we are constantly innovating and addressing various challenges. The most common and persistent issue facing our employees is musculoskeletal disorders, or MSDs. And I'd like to touch on how we are working to solve them, because they are our leading cause of injuries at Amazon and industry-wide. So I'm sure many of you struggle with MSD-related issues in your own operations as well. Next slide. MSDs are more likely to occur during an employee's first 6 months on the job. We know this, so it's critical for us to invent solutions to reduce MSDs for new employees, many of whom are working in a physical role for the first time. So we need effective collaboration with other employers, experts, medical professionals, as well as EHS professionals around the world. And that's why Amazon has partnered with the National Safety Council on a multi-year effort that will lead to industry-wide solutions. Elements of this partnership include the formation of an advisory council, new research that will explore current and future MSD innovations, grants to small businesses and universities, and an annual innovation challenge. In addition, we are making an industry call to action, which we'll call the MSD Pledge. We see a role for all of you as we build out the elements of this partnership. As the project unfolds, we will be sure to keep you informed of opportunities to engage, whether that's considering grants, participating in this innovation challenge, or taking the MSD Pledge to help reduce MSDs industry-wide. So as opportunities arise, we will be sure to share information with you, or right now you can go to nsc.org/Amazon partnership to learn more. Engaging all of you in intervention and prevention efforts is just one way for us to ensure we are providing you resources you can apply at your own companies. But we don't want to simply provide resources and opportunities to engage. We want to provide the training that you need to operate as safely as possible too. And we take that responsibility seriously. So since our last Supplier Summit, our virtual contractor orientation has been updated and improved to provide real-life examples of hazards and proven mitigation efforts that contractors can apply across all Amazon sites. We have continued to partner with Avetta to improve the safety pre-qualification experience for suppliers. We are now offering supplier office hours, and I hope you make use of them and find them useful. We have updated our special safety conditions to provide further clarification and guidance on safety expectations for suppliers. Next slide. We continue to work on improving on-site supplier partnerships, and we have various projects underway that are aimed to improve your safety and experience. We have invested in areas such as high-risk operations with over $80 million in capital investments to protect maintenance workers. This includes an effort to add engineering controls to our roofs or arc flash relays to protect against arc flash events on our main switch gears, just to name a few examples. But let me show you a small snippet from one of our contractor orientation videos to give you a sense of how we communicate our roof safety expectations.
You must be paired with someone when working on the roof. You must obtain a roof permit and roof access log from your Amazon point of contact. For work performed outside of daylight hours, you must supply adequate lighting to provide illumination of roof work. When working near or around floor openings greater than 30 centimeters or 12 inches, these openings must be barricaded, guarded, or covered to prevent potential for a fall. All personal tools and equipment must be removed from the roof each and every day. Materials left on the roof must be secured so that they cannot be blown by the wind. As identified in the roof access permit, there is to be no work during adverse weather conditions such as lightning, rain, or high winds.
There are 4 key steps in our process that we require all our partners to adhere to before working with us. First, you and all your subcontractors must be registered and compliant in our Avetta pre-qualification system. You cannot move forward working with Amazon without completing this registration in Avetta. Second, you must meet or exceed Amazon special safety conditions if you are performing work on any Amazon site. Third, every single one of your workers must take Amazon's virtual contractor orientation. You'll see the URL on this slide. The contractor orientation explains what to expect on our sites and what we expect from all of you in return. And fourth, you must complete a safety plan, a pre-task planning, or a job hazard analysis prior to completing work. This is critical because we need to ensure you have properly identified site and task-specific hazards, safe methods, and the necessary PPE for your work. Please know that in some cases moving forward, we are conducting monitoring to ensure compliance, and we will not acquiesce to anything less. Partners who do not follow our process will not be partners any longer. I'm confident that you all understand the importance of these 4 steps and that you will adhere to them. I also want to remind you that you are empowered when you're at an Amazon site. You are a fresh set of eyes, and I'm giving you stop work authority anytime you recognize an unsafe condition for yourself, your workers, or others at Amazon. I expect you and your workers to raise any issues with your Amazon point of contact. If every one of our partners nailed this process, we would indeed become Earth's safest place to work. Technology and advancements are among the ways we aim to keep our employees and all of you safe. Technology has the ability to mitigate some of the most common hazards across our operations, and we are leveraging our ability to innovate in order to provide the safest environments. Technology and innovation can help us live up to our new leadership principles. Some of you regularly see these technologies in action, and some of you have partnered with us to make them a reality. But I know there are others who might not get to see these technologies up close, and few may even realize the extent to which we are innovating across all of our operations. So today, I want to talk to you about some of the technologies that are fueling safety at Amazon. So first, I'd like to introduce you to some of the people ensuring safety at our fulfillment centers.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is DeAndrea and I'm a sortation associate. Naturally, I'm a positive and hardworking person, and I love it here. Everybody always wants to make sure you're safe and ultimately having fun. Amazon uses a lot of technology, but the real magic is the people.
I'm Cynthia. This is Jerry. We met here at work. In passing, we'd wave or joke around or do a little dance, and we've been friends ever since. Jerry, I think it's time for a dance move. See?
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm Sushara, and I work on the receiving line. Can I get one more stack of Coke?
Absolutely, absolutely.
My favorite part of the job is the different personalities. My friend Kenneth, we met on my first day here, and we work as a team.
My name is January, and I work outbound ship down. Thank you, guys. I have a great team. I have great friends that work here. We laugh, we joke, but we also get our job done. The outbound ship dog has the most fun, hands down. We support each other, and we just rock it out. My favorite part is there's so many people coming together to create one goal.
Hey, how you doing?
It's really awesome that you have all these outgoing, fun-loving people working for Amazon under one roof.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one. I love that everybody is helpful here. Work friends turn into work family.
You can see that we all have challenges in our work environment, and these challenges require constant investment in terms of policies, equipment, and training. And for us, innovation is used in every corner of our business operations, and we leverage it to keep all of you safe. Technology helps reinforce safer behaviors because it engineers out some of the most common risks our employees may face. In 2020, we committed $125 million to non-COVID-19 safety-related projects, and we plan to spend an additional $300 million this year. One of the keys to our operational success is the ability to use robots in our fulfillment centers to move products around quickly. We collaborate with safety engineering to design our machines and integrated systems from prototype to production. And then this enables us to problem solve and avoid risk of incident and injury. With your help, all Amazon machines are designed to ensure safe and compliant interface, which mitigates risk as much as possible. And you make it possible for us to identify products and solutions that are commercially available, and we enjoy working alongside you to raise the machine safety bar. Most important, we invest in safety solutions, and we expect our partners to do the same. The net result for all of us is a safe work environment. Amazon fulfillment centers now process more than 80% of all items shipped. And we have integrated robotic systems that allow this to happen. We have 4 new technologies we are working to deploy more broadly, and each is named for a beloved Jim Henson character. So we have Ernie, Bert, Kermit, and Scooter. So next we're going to play a video and introduce you to Ernie. So let's meet Ernie. Ernie is a robotic system that can help employees move totes more comfortably and safely. Ernie reduces the need for employees to reach or bend and perform strenuous movements. Ernie does the reaching and the bending for them by bringing the totes directly to employees. And while this may seem simple, it is a highly choreographed dance between the robots and the software. We're encouraged by the possibilities that Ernie brings because the technology reduces employee movements. It's not about increasing productivity, it's all about safety. This is just one technology we are exploring to help us address MSDs. Next, I want to talk to you about Ernie's sidekick, Bert. So let's play the next video. Bert is one of our first autonomous mobile robots, or AMRs. Historically, it's been difficult for robots and employees to share the same physical working space. It's also hard to introduce robots to areas where we rely on people's unique judgments, dexterity, and flexibility to carry out the work. AMRs like Bert change that. Bert is collaborative and smart. He autonomously navigates through our facilities using advanced safety, perception, and navigation technology. With Bert, no longer do robots need to be confined to restricted areas. Right now, we're testing how to summon an arm like Bert to pick up a heavier item and transport it across a facility, which means an employee doesn't have to perform that task. We hope one day that Bert will be deployed throughout our network, automating the movement of larger, heavier items or carts, taking those movements and push-pull actions off of our employees. And while we're discussing autonomous mobility, I'll show you 2 other examples, Scooter and Kermit. So let's play the next slide. Scooter is an autonomous guided vehicle, or AGV for short. It was designed to lift and tug carts through some of our facilities. Today, employees use carts to move packages from one side of the building to the other, or off of one truck and onto another. Using Scooter to pull carts through our facilities reduces the need for employees to push or to pull carts across distances. So by increasing usage of this technology, we believe we'll see improved ergonomics and reduced strains from package handling and movements. For example, Scooter can handle heavy, bulky packages and high quantities, so employees do not need to. And Scooter can move large numbers of carts over long distances, reducing strain and extended walking. So we believe that robotics like Scooter and his brother Kermit can significantly reduce those risks. So let's play the next slide. Kermit is an autonomous guided cart, or ACG. As you've seen, totes are used to help transport products through our facilities, and we have to move empty totes from one place to another so they can be used to carry more product. Kermit was designed to serve as a point-to-point system. The technology uses magnetic tape to guide its navigation and speed up, slow down, or modify its course. Kermit can alleviate the need for employees to lift, carry, and transport these totes themselves. That means employees can complete other tasks that robots simply cannot do, tasks that require judgment and problem-solving skills. When we discuss robotics at Amazon, we are often asked if technology hurts our employees or negatively impacts our jobs. This couldn't be further from the truth. Our technologies and robots work with our employees, but not without them. So since Amazon began using robotics in its facilities in 2012, we've added over 1 million jobs worldwide and deployed 350,000 mobile drive unit robots. Robotics and other advanced technologies will continue to play an important role as we improve safety across our facilities. And once again, all of this innovation is possible because of our partnership with you. Next slide. One technology we really couldn't have developed without our partners is our collision avoidance technology on our powered industrial trucks, or PIT, or forklifts. This technology creates pit-free zones in our fulfillment centers, and we are already seeing a decrease in pit-related pedestrian injuries from this technology. If you think about it, universal pit safety has not materially advanced over the last 20 years. In 2019, we challenged ourselves to eliminate pit-related severe injuries across our facilities and the industry. We engaged with our 5 major pit OEMs to deep dive into the problem and to challenge us to create technology to improve pit safety. Our Amazon engineers and scientists, along with our pit OEMs, looked at various technology concepts, and eventually we developed what we call collision avoidance technology, or CAT for short. CAT combines light detection and ranging, so LiDAR, and real-time location system, RTLS. And this kind of technology is used in other applications like motor vehicles, but no pit OEM had ever integrated it into a forklift. And this will be the first industry-wide solution with integrated semi-automatic controls that can reduce driver errors and many of the human factors that lead to incidents. So next, we're going to take a look at a pit video.
At Amazon, we obsess about the safety of our people and partners. It's our highest priority. Every day, we are developing technological solutions that improve both the daily experiences of our associates and our ability to exceed customers' expectations. As part of that obsession, we're committed to solving complex problems in the midst of continual change, seeking out simple yet scalable solutions. This is why we're implementing first-class innovative technologies throughout our facilities. Amazon's legacy of innovation isn't confined to customer obsession. We aspire to set the global industry benchmark for safe and efficient operations. Just one example in our growing portfolio of this technology is how we're improving our fleet of powered industrial trucks, simply known as PIT. Currently, PIT operation, much like driving a car, relies solely on the operator, leaving them vulnerable to human error, distractions, or cognitive overload, which research has shown can lead to collisions and injuries. To mitigate these hazards, Amazon's PIT Solutions, worldwide engineering, and workplace health and safety teams have partnered to innovate in technology. Powered by real-time location systems, or RTLS. When this innovative technology is paired with the established technology of LiDAR, or light detection and ranging, RTLS can track the location of pit vehicles inside our buildings in real time, and reduces the risk of collision compared with relying on human reaction alone. RTLS with LiDAR works together to automatically issue operational commands to the pit vehicle. For instance, when the pit approaches an object or pedestrian with an RTLS tag, the RTLS can calculate the required distance to stop the pit, slow down, and even warn pedestrians by signaling alarms to reduce the risk of collision. Alternatively, RTLS tags can also identify low-risk areas, allowing pit vehicles to move at higher speeds and increasing efficiency. This will have a positive effect on the safety of our people, but no impact on the logistics of our operations. So it's a win-win solution. In an environment where hazards are inevitable, we are taking a bold, cutting-edge step to minimize the potential risk, care for our associates, and deliver smiles without compromising safety. We strive to be industry leaders and raise the bar through innovation. RTLS with LiDAR is just one example in a growing portfolio of technological solutions that improve both the daily experience of our associates and our ability to exceed customers' expectations.
So I'm really excited about what this technology brings to forklifts and for safety. And of course, we are very fortunate to have partnership with our OEMs to create such innovative technology. In fact, we are honored to have been selected as a finalist for the prestigious Green Cross for Safety Innovation Award that's awarded by the National Safety Council. The development of CAT is just one example of our ability to make incredible safety gains together. I cannot stress enough how much we value our partnerships with all of you. From finding innovative solutions to lockout tagout, to deep diving on fall protection, to creating new safety measures for forklift injuries. We rely on our expertise and our collaboration to make the implausible possible. So thanks to our partners, we look forward to expanding the use of CAT in more of our operations and throughout other industries that use forklifts. Next slide. So earlier I mentioned that our robotic fulfillment centers handle more than 80% of all items shipped. There are hundreds of robotic drives in each facility that allow this to happen. And these drives help the thousands of employees at a fulfillment center more safely and efficiently pick, pack, and ship customer orders. The robotic drives do the heavy lifting and the walking. They bring items stowed into thousands of pods right to our employee workstations. But occasionally, these drives break down or products fall out of a bin, and our technicians are called on to maintain and reset drives throughout the day. And they do so while the robotics floor is active. So one of the most exciting collaborations between our robots and our employees is showcased through our robotic safety vest. The robotic safety vest increases the ability of our systems for our Amazon robotics technicians. Investing $9.8 million into their development, our robotic safety vest uses advanced sciences like AI and sensors to send signals to other robotic drive units on the floor. And once other drive units are made aware of the robotic safety vest's presence, they automatically slow down and update their route to avoid areas where the employee is or will be working. And this continuous stream of information helps to keep the floor moving in a safe and efficient manner for everyone. But again, because pictures are better than words, let me show you the vest in action. So let's roll the next video.
We have our own culture, our own language.
It's important to take care of each other, look out for each other.
Safety is always the #1 priority.
We want to be the most safety-centric organization in the world. We have created a virtual reality of our fulfillment centers to identify hazards and learn what they look like.
I have my access path.
We're now using our robotic tech vests at nearly every Amazon robotics facility.
This vest is actually protecting me, so no matter where I am, it's still sending out that signal that tells the robots, hey, there's a person here, don't come close, stop, or go slow.
We have a new digital checklist for pit operators to use. They'll sign in to make sure that the people that are attempting to sign in have the proper training, and then they'll go through a digital checklist that prompts them of what to look for.
We use the Amazon Kindles. They're one of our most important tools. It can keep them safe because they can check to see if the trailer is docked in, because if it is, then we can go inside.
There's many things that we've actually changed in our operations through the use of technology that actually helps speed things up, but at the same time, it makes it safer for our associates to do. We're constantly striving to be a leader. We are obsessed with customer experience, and we are equally obsessed with the safety of our associates.
So you can see that these vests are about keeping our employees safe and that they're really easy to use. They also have the ability to set restricted areas where drive units can and cannot go to keep the employees safe. So again, this is an example of how our teams are creating advanced solutions for people and robots to work together to achieve a task safely. And again, these advancements are possible because of strong relationships with all of you. And we rely on you to push us to do better, faster, all while keeping one another safe. So I welcome your ideas. I hope that what I've shown you today makes you as proud to partner with Amazon as we are to work with all of you. Last slide. Before I leave you today, I want to bring us back to something I said at the start, and that is that you are all critical to helping millions of people receive the essential goods they need, but also to keep one another safe. The most important thing we deliver for each other is a healthy and safe work environment. Your safety and the safety of every Amazonian is a core value that we prioritize in everything we do. So I want to ask you 3 important things. First, I need you to believe that together we can make safety gains that may not have seemed possible. I know we are gathering virtually and I cannot see you at all, but I want crowd participation here. After all, real integrity is doing the right thing even when no one can see you. So raise your hand if you believe that together we can do better to protect our people everywhere they operate without compromise. I'm envisioning a sea of raised hands right now because that's how confident I am that you will join us in making safety the #1 priority each and every day. Second, as I have challenged you to believe that safety gains are possible, I want to challenge us. At Amazon, we believe it's always day one. It keeps us from becoming stagnant and helps us innovate quickly and safely. Do not allow your work to become routine. It is imperative that everyone at our sites follow the rules and pays attention to the controls we have in place. While you are here, you will hear about how we've listened to your feedback and partnered with you to make sure that we raise the bar on safety and well-being. We can't do that without all of you. You perform some of the highest risk activities, things like electrical work, work on our roofs, and accessing confined spaces. Your work is valued. I want you to know that if you see something that doesn't look right, don't just walk by. You are empowered to make sure that everyone has and uses their stop work authority while working on Amazon sites. Please know that it's okay and actually expected of you to stop work and speak up if someone is behaving in an unsafe way, and approach every hazard assessment with day one eyes and challenge us to do the same. There is nothing routine about what we all do. Our work is literally a matter of life and death, so let's hold one another accountable for remembering that. And lastly, I'm asking you to remember that we are all leaders. We are responsible for living up to the new leadership principles I mentioned at the beginning. Amazon may have started in a garage, but we now deliver goods that fill homes and garages the world over. We owe it to all of our customers to carry out that enormous responsibility in the safest possible way. If Amazon is to become Earth's best employer and safest place to work, it will take the leadership and investment from everyone who's gathered here today. Investing in safety goes beyond the monetary investments. It means a top-down commitment from every single person and organization that partners with Amazon. Your commitment to safety has a direct impact on your colleagues, visitors, and partners. And I'm asking you to make the investments necessary to fuel your operations and protect your people. You have my word, we will do the same, and we will support you at every turn. So thank you for the time today. Please enjoy today's summit. I'm so appreciative of all your hard work as you continue to serve our communities, our customers, and our employees, and all of our people. So thank you. Have a good day.
Hi, my name is Justin Smith, Senior Contract Risk Program Manager. I've been with Amazon for 4 years and with the CRM team since the implementation of the Contract Risk Management Program. One of our most important partnerships is with the Global Reliability, Maintenance, and Engineering team. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you our next speaker, Mike Doiron, Vice President of our Global Reliability, Maintenance, and Engineering organization here at Amazon. Mike's a proud father and the global R&D leader for Amazon. Mike is a boomerang at Amazon and has led world-class operations and manufacturing organizations across the world for the last 30 years. Now, let's hear from Mike.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Duarong. I am the global lead for the Reliability and Maintenance Engineering organization here at Amazon, known as RME. I returned to Amazon a little less than a year ago in December of 2020. So I'm officially known as a boomerang here at Amazon, having had worked here in the 2012 2013 timeframe. I then had to leave Seattle and Amazon for some family health issues, and I moved back to Dallas, Texas. Eventually, I did rejoin the workplace again, and I joined my prior company called Flex as the CTO there. Flex, if you don't know, is one of the largest contract manufacturing companies globally with factories in about 31 countries. So Flex assisted to build, both design and build products for the world's largest OEMs in just about every industry, so including even Amazon products. So you can imagine the complexities and the inherent safety risks in a highly automated and industrialized environment like that. And it was in that world that I became sort of ultra aware of the importance of workplace health and safety for employees. And I've personally seen what even just small mistakes in the environmental design or lack of adherence to protocols can result in, witnessing some significant injuries as well as, unfortunately, some tragic fatalities in my years there. So it's fitting that I welcome you here all to the annual Safety Summit, and I'm glad to have the chance to be able to participate with you here today. Your presence reflects our shared commitment to safety, without a doubt, just being here. So a little bit about Reliability and Maintenance Engineering Group. The RME teams are tasked with keeping all the billions of dollars of assets that we have in our facilities up and running on a daily basis, and to support them from a preventative maintenance as well as a predictive tool maintenance perspective. But RME mostly gets visibility when there are emergency SEVs in the sites due to something that failed, like an MHE equipment. And then they work very fast and furious to repair the problem to minimize the downtime. However, the organization adds a tremendous value behind the scenes that is not always visible to Amazon as a whole. So a couple stats which will help give you a little more insights into the value of this organization and what they do on a day-to-day basis. Our RME team is closing in on 15,000 members, continuing to grow very fast, and this includes our Amazon employees all the way through our specialized contractors, and many of our internal teams are partnered with us as well. So worldwide, RME operates in 12 countries and supports 3,800 sites across various business lines, fulfillment centers, sort centers, air, networks, Amazon, AMZL, and the GSF network. So operating in countries across the globe, of course. This highly specialized workforce is responsible for maintaining more than 4 million assets globally across operational networks. And in fact, about 80% of the contractual services performed by Amazon are managed by our RME team. So that's a pretty crazy statistic. All of this is possible because of the support and the expertise provided by our various contractors, our vendors, suppliers, 3P partners, as well as the many support groups internally, such as yourselves here today. We here in RME, we witness and we're appreciative of the day-to-day partnerships across all of our sites. RME definitely acknowledges the subject matter expertise of all of our suppliers, our vendors, our business unit partners, and you here in the room today. Because of our continued partnership, we're able to really deliver the best customer experience for Amazon clients on a global basis. So a little more on the focus of the importance of safety in our Amazon facilities and as important in our everyday Amazon business. Safety is not just a word at Amazon. It is a core value that reflects that compromise is not an option when it comes to ensuring the safety of our facilities and our people. As you may be aware, Amazon released 2 new leadership principles, including the goals to be Earth's best employer and Earth's safest place to work. Pretty lofty goals and puts a lot of pressure on us to deliver there. The additional leadership principles reflect, though, our everyday commitment to strongly and really unambiguously set high standards for employee safety. It is and will continue to be our very top priority. So these principles, they're close to my heart because they're the foundation of some of the things we do here in Amazon RME. As you've already heard from Heather earlier today, Amazon has been deep diving into work-related safety issues that has been innovating to invent solutions which will help alleviate a lot of these concerns. Along with safety, employee well-being has also been a very strong focus area for Amazon. In fact, Amazon provides people with job opportunities where they can earn an industry-leading wage, have benefits from day one, and build a career in parallel. It's pretty outstanding, and not a lot of companies can say that. We currently pay our employees an average starting wage of $17 an hour, more than double the federal minimum wage, and provide comprehensive health benefits, paid time off, up to 20 weeks fully paid parental leave, and much, much more for the employees and their families. So much research has been done so far on the impact of Amazon employee policies, and the findings support that Amazon policies have not just helped our own internal employees, but have raised the overall health and safety of our community overall. So that impact that Amazon is driving across our employees and our community really makes me feel proud to be part of this company at this time in our growth, especially given our size. So we recognize that as Amazon strives to be Earth's best employer and Earth's safest place to work, our impact and influence is not limited just to Amazon's full-time employees, but also to the hourly employees, our vendors, our contractors, our 3P partners that support us in RME. This is important to note because we want to ensure that all of our stakeholders have a good and safe environment within the walls that they operate in Amazon. So Amazon has come a long way in terms of creating a safe environment for everyone, but we do realize that there's a lot more to do. And the thought of that just it energizes me tremendously, and we've got tons of opportunities to continue to improve there. Some additional data to share with you on the recent statistics from RME Safety, which will help shed a little more light on the current opportunities and activities there. Historically, within the RME team, we've identified various safety challenges, which have been rigorously measured through many different metrics and goals, as is everything at Amazon. And in fact, as you all probably know or would have experienced, Amazon is very notorious for bringing data-driven solutions, right? So this bodes well for us because as an employee-centric company, we've been focusing on inventing solutions to reduce any safety challenges that are backed by sound analysis and data-driven research. So I think it was since 2018, which the RME team, we consider a real baseline year for us as we made some instrumental changes then. We've seen our safety incident rate reduced by 12x. In that same period, we've also seen our safety leadership index improve by 69%. It's pretty amazing numbers there. So these improvements have been made possible because the RME team has been focusing on setting up various mechanisms and using tech to deploy robust and easy to use solutions, which I'll talk a little bit about later. So some examples of the mechanisms that we've set up in RME are safety review boards, tech training modules like TAC training, and qualified electrical worker training, and so on. Some of the tech deployments that we've launched in 2020 and 2021 alone are things like pre-task planning, work order management, development of digitized safety assessment for technicians online, just to name a few. And to ensure that we continue with this newfound momentum, we'll continue investing more into safety projects and create processes and technology that will alleviate or eliminate some of these safety issues in front of us. So I'm happy to quickly share with you some of the ongoing and planned RME initiatives here, and definitely encourage your feedback, because the only way we're going to improve is if we get your voice as partners to help us improve our approach. I know there was that quote by Jeff Bezos where he said, "Our destination is final, but our approach and details are open to change." So we definitely embrace that here in RME. In 2021 and 2022 on the RME front, we've already started to take actions on some of these challenges and have begun to see some early results. One big technological solution that we are working on is contractor risk management, or the CRM module, in our CMMS EAM tool. Up until now, contractor risk management required the manual intervention of some 27 different systems across multiple business units, which was crazy. This resulted in inconsistent inputs, lack of visibility, non-compliant risks, risk of regulatory penalties, and even civil liabilities. So, as already stated earlier, RME team accounts for managing over 80% of the contractor services. So that's the reason our team took the lead to try and centralize some of these CRM systems. So the newly developed centralized CRM tool, it will help capture and track each step within the same system, including pre-qualification, selection of contractors, purchase orders, job hazard analysis, or what we call JHA, permit completion, contractor orientation, site tracking visibility, and reporting in the event of an incident. So this initiative is already underway, and it will complete in the 2022 timeframe. Excited about that. So considering the impact that this tool will create for all our contractors, I think we got a lot of positives heading our way. There are some other interesting problem statements that we're solving in RME using technology. For example, we're also introducing a new mobile-friendly platform for our contractors to access work orders remotely, mobily, that are dispatched to them, and that's coming in this coming year. Tied to that, we also listen to our contractors on their pain points that they see of maintaining efficient channels of communication, and to solve for that, we're designing a new system to support the attachment of documents to work orders to enable easier correspondence via comments and messaging capability that they can have right there within the application. So that's very positive as well. Additionally, now contractors can request for scheduling of a follow-up work order. They can add notes and details pertaining to the follow-up request. They can get access to work order checklists and manage digital work permits within the new application. So all of these steps will provide our contractors greater control and ownership over the work order management, and it'll also allow our contractors to drive better safety requirements at our sites. So turning focus real quickly to some of the deliverables that we must execute to be successful here. Earlier, you heard Heather speak about Amazon's investment to further ensure everyone's safety. The RME team continues to focus on investing and improving on-site safety conditions by utilizing AVETA pre-qualification, which is for contractors, and that's just a tool that we use called AVETA. That combines clear and concise on-site management controls, enhanced virtual orientation, and this JHA, or job hazard analysis, completion requirement that I mentioned. So Avetta then manages our suppliers' safety expectations from contract origination all the way to project completion. The program ensures regulatory and Amazon compliance and ties in safe job planning, compliance assurance, and performance feedback from a job, which provides a single location for all parties to compile all necessary safety paperwork. So that's a very slick new tool. Prior to entering a site, all contractors are now required to be pre-qualified in Avetta, all technicians trained in this virtual orientation, and a robust safety planning process to ensure that they're adequately risk assessing the work that they're going to do. So each of these deliverables are building blocks for our safety structure, and missing even one of these blocks, such as a poor JHA or even lack of training for those contractors, it can really lead to a chink in that structure and ultimately resulting in injuries or even a death. So definitely this is an important tool. So as we go forward here, here's some questions you can ask yourself. Does my team have safety ownership within the operations side of my business? Do they have that ownership? Is my team mitigating and managing our risk through a solid safety, JHA planning, and properly training our people prior to coming into our sites? Do we understand that they all have stop work authority on a job in the event of an unsafe condition or behavior? And am I taking all the safety incidents and events to my Amazon POC so that we can partner to prevent reoccurrence? So these are all questions that definitely should be an affirm yes, but I'd ask each and every one of you here today that you're focused here not only on meeting the safety bar, that we look to try and smash through that bar so that we can ultimately set a new base standard that makes everyone safe to get home every day. Our partnership on this front is key to everyone's safety success. All safety expectations are in place to protect people while at our sites. So everyone here, you're here today, you're a key player in achieving this reality. And you all have a set of roles and responsibilities, along with concrete actions and deliverables that will be necessary in pursuit of our defined safety mission. So, generally we think you can achieve this through a few fundamentals, right? One, ensuring that your company and your subcontractors are compliant in Avetta. Verifying Amazon's special safety conditions are read and understood by all team members, not just Amazon, but all contractors and vendors. Providing workers the Amazon virtual orientation prior to coming into a site. And enacting a solid JHA pre-task planning for risk mitigation and PPE execution. And finally, empowering your teams with the knowledge that stop work authority and the understanding that the expectation is there to report all safety incidents and events to your Amazon POC will enable us to work together and prevent reoccurrence. Through achieving all these deliverables, we can safeguard our people that enter our facilities a lot better. We cannot maintain and call ourselves Earth's safest facilities without your leadership here, and that's why I'm excited that you have this summit to openly talk about these things. Amazon is investing in safety, and we all need to invest as well, mentally and with our teams. So it's clear what we've learned is good intentions, they don't work very well, but mechanisms do here at Amazon. So ownership with the leaders and the authority and moral obligation to question or stop any unsafe practices are at the core of our success. We all must be those leaders and push that message down to our staff. So I want to thank you all for everything you do. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great safety summit, and together, hopefully we can continue to keep our team safe. Thanks for your time today.
Hi, my name is Christina Holloman, and I've been with Amazon for a little over 3 years. I began my Amazon career in procurement operations at one of our fulfillment centers in Baltimore, Maryland, and now I'm a part of vendor management within category procurement. I work closely with our contract risk management team to ensure our sites are using approved suppliers that have been pre-qualified through Avetta. I'm glad you all are able to attend the Supplier Summit and want to welcome you to ask questions in the chat. The team will answer what we can and follow up after the event as well. Now, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Kennedy Oates. Kennedy is a Vice President, Global Procurement at Amazon and serves as a senior leader with more than 29 years of global supply chain experience. Kennedy is currently responsible for North America, emerging countries, and European procurement for Amazon operations, which includes category management of packaging, services, construction, and IT services. Kennedy also oversees the centralized indirect supply chain and site-based procurement activities. Let's hear from Kennedy now.
Christina, thanks a lot for the introduction. It's a pleasure taking part in such a very important event as relates to a supplier safety for our employees and for you as our partners out there. As we go forward, the whole thing around supplier engagement and how we connect around the world of safety is so critical to the company. So I'm excited to be part of such a very important event as we move forward. As many of you know, we start off as a very small company in a garage, and we've grown to way over 1 million items that we serve, going from, discs and books to a large variety of things that we provide to our customers around the world. And, having a company this size and this magnitude brings a lot of great responsibility for the company. And we want to make sure that as we grow and continue to move forward, that we continue to be humble and thoughtful as an organization as we continue to serve our communities which we operate in. And we got a huge responsibility. And as we think about our communities, the planet, and the future generations that we got to serve, it's important that we get it right. And every single day that we start, our determination has to be to make things better. We got to do better and be better around the customers that we serve and the communities which we live. And you, as our partners, play a very important role in that as we move forward. And that the world at large is something that we have to continue to strive to be better. Now, any great company, all good leaders, we always, put more in than what we take out. We create value in so many ways in what we do. So it's a responsibility that we have. We don't leave it to be untested and just sent out there for nothing to be done about it. We have a role to play, and that role and responsibility is very key. And we always got to leave this place better than we found it. And we play a very important role collectively in driving that culture and that mindset as we go forward. Hey, Amazon has close to 4,000 sites around the world, and we continue to grow every little bit and every day that we continue to find different things we can do for our customer base. We spend over $40 billion, and I can tell you that's going to continue to increase. We're going to continue to grow year after year and year after year, and having that partnership with you is going to be very key to our survival and our growth as we go forward. One thing I'm very excited about, the platform we use around Avetta. In 2020, we had 3,800 suppliers on the system. And then seeing where we are in 2021, that has grown. We have 50% more growth than we had before, and we expect to see that continue to grow even further and further as we go forward. And so the work that you do each and every day adds tons of value. And I personally want to thank you for your involvement and your engagement and making sure we have all your alignment at Benavides. So please keep that up, and thanks so much for that. Next slide. The next slide. As we continue to grow, there's always some different needs that we're going to have across the company. And you play a very important role in that too as we go forward. We got a very strong category management team that really help us drive and build our sourcing strategies, look at things around risk management, making sure supplier quality there, and our performance levels at a very high level as we go forward across the company. And as I think about that, we surround ourselves around a strong financial model that's deeply embedded into what we do every single day. And so, Resonat, it's the categories you support around construction services, conveyance, landscaping, pit equipment, telecommunications, just to name a few. You play a very vital role into our success and what we do every single day. And so the list is not a full list, but to give you a wide range of services for high-performance suppliers that really drive our strategy and focus as we go forward. As we think about it, safety is at the key of what we do every single day, and it has to be at a very high level for us to drive forward and protect our employee base, to protect you, and also the environment in which we work. And we need your help to drive that strong focus so we can continue to deliver miles of smiles around the world. And your support in the future, if you're in these areas, I'll talk to you more about how you can kind of continue to grow with us as we move forward and to the next level. Next slide. Hey, across the company, we all have what we call tenants. They really drive who we are as an organization and who we are as a company. And we got to make sure that we have these things because this is what keeps us focused. It keeps us well connected. It drives consistency across the board, and it makes sure that we're focusing on the right things as an organization. Hey, one of the top things that we're always going to start with is always going to be safety. And safety is non-negotiable. It is something that we just can't take for light for 1 minute, because if we take our eye off this one here, bad things can happen. And so driving a strong culture around safety is very key for us. And we want to make sure we continue to do that as we go forward as an organization and as a company. And we think about how we collaborate with our customers and looking around the corners to deliver results. That's a key tenet of our company. One of our strong leadership principles is delivering results. And we got to make sure we're doing that at every part of what we do as part of the organization and the role you play to support us in driving that forward as a partnership. Standardization. It has to be something we do, and we're going to continue to innovate as an organization to make sure that we're driving innovation to make these more simpler, more repetitive, and more beneficial to continue to take the right structure out of the process. Spend matters, and we can't lose sight on how we manage our spend. And I'm continuing going to have the organization look at how do we drive costs out. So look at the total cost of ownership. How do we continue to drive that cost out of the system and make sure we got a more beneficial product or service as we deliver to our customers? And we need you to be with us because we're always going to try to find better ways to be fully and 100% customer obsessed of how we deliver our products and services to our customers. And you play a very vital role in making sure that happens. We need you to be there with us and continue to drive forward with us as we continue to make what we do better and better every single day. But we got to start off with the right thing that, hey, our partners around safety and the things we do around safety is critical to our success. And we just cannot waver not 1 minute on what we do in that space there. Next slide. And so you think about the things I want to continue to have my team focus on as we go forward. And we're always trying to make sure that our focus is there. And if we got to make pivots here and there, we will make those pivots. But the main thing is looking at our organization from a global focus. You know, we're going to transform our organization to not only look at things from a regional perspective, but also from a global perspective to make sure the strategy that we drive is consistent across every region which we operate in and which we drive forward within as well. And then our business units. We want to make sure that we're really agnostic of how we operate the organization and make sure we've been totally integrated to what our customers are asking us to do internally as we move forward. And that's going to be very key for us as we think about how we drive our organization. Supplier diversity is extremely important for us. We have a lot of small and disadvantaged business out there that would love to do business with us. And it's not always easy. And so part of our goal is to make it much more easier and simpler for these small and disadvantaged businesses to do work with us across the board. And that's very important for us because having diversity of thought is one thing, but having diversity of our supplier base takes us to a whole new level. And that's going to be very critical for us as we move forward. Risk mitigation. We have to reduce and eliminate any safety issues that we might have. We got to make sure the leading indicators are there and so we can identify them sooner within the process and then make sure they are mitigated or reduced or eliminated altogether. Because again, one small step could lead to some very drastic issues for us from a safety perspective. And so your ability to stay close to us is going to be key as we go forward. And I said over and over again, safety is the number one thing that we're going to always ask you to go do, as it's very important for us to kind of get that right in every step of the way we take across the organization. And that's very important that you've been partnered with us and that we work very close to drive the right safety culture and drive the right safety DNA across the board. Next. As we think about up safety and then what's really driving our importance across the organization, and then how do we control it? Because it's just not only us, it has to be a collective thought between both groups, our supplier partners, our internal business partners, and our whole category team driving that across the board. I'll start off again. Safety is by far the number one thing that we're going to focus on as an organization. It's very key for us, and we want to make sure that we don't lose sight of that whatsoever. But to get there, we got to make sure we start off selecting the right suppliers, the right partners to be with us, and understand the direction we want to drive and how we want to kind of create a better DNA across the platform. Whether it's inside of our facilities or outside of our facilities, we want to make sure that our partnerships are very clear and that we're driving that from the very start. So we're going to put a lot of energy in making sure we got the right partners from the very start of what we do. We need to understand our value chain. The proposition that we bring across the board, and then how do we measure our safety performance? This has to be very key. Whether or not we're doing things around the TIR or MER, those things are pretty key. And we're going to be very strong in measuring the safety performance of our own internal teams and also the safety performance of you as our business partners. Because if we don't get that right, again, it could be very detrimental to what we do across the board. And we're going to make sure that, hey, we got the right metrics in place, the right reviews to take place, because that's going to be another avenue to make sure we are tracking to the right direction. And so if you have size and you have scale with us, we're going to do these business reviews with you on a regular basis just to make sure that we are tracking, that we are taking the right corrective actions, we are driving the right behaviors to get the right input and the right output so we can create a better environment around the world and within our operations and across the board is very key for us. We have the annual review process, and so we review what you've done and what you continue to do. And if there's any issues that's driving our performance across the board, we're going to make sure we review it and say, hey, Rizanat, you can continue being a partner with us as we go forward. And we got to make sure that, again, that we're really locked tight and close as we kind of drive this forward. And then the partnership that my team is going to bring to work with you every single day is going to be very key. We want to make sure that as we work together, we can kind of drive that as one organization and be focused collectively together. Now, there's many ways that you can kind of engage with us from a procurement standpoint, but we're introducing something brand new that we're all excited by. It's called Supplier Connect, and we're going to roll this out in the fourth quarter. And it's going to allow you to be a lot easier to identify and do work with us as a supplier. And we know it takes time to create that right environment, but this tool right here is going to be a whole lot easier than what it's been in the past. And we're going to pilot it and start it off in North America first. We're going to try to, engage as many suppliers as possible to run through this process to make sure it kind of runs the way we want to run. But we're going to initiate it in North America first. And all you do is go to Amazon.com, and then you go to Supply to Amazon, and then kind of follow the process to kind of identify yourself as a potential supplier for us. And then you register through it. You complete the questionnaire. The information will go to our category team. They will do the assessment to determine, hey, the right fit, the right products, the right services. They will determine that. Now, listen, there's no guarantee that it's going to come out. It's going to lead to you to be able to do business with us. But it's the first start into us identifying that this is the right process, the right supplier to kind of manage us going forward. So this is going to allow us to add and expand our supplier base, identify some new opportunities. And we know some of you guys who work in one region, you might have an opportunity to work in multiple regions. And this is one way that will help us be able to identify and see that as a global team. So we're very excited by that opportunity to expose you to that process. It's going to go a long way in helping us kind of grow our supplier base and grow our partnerships with you. So I will close with a couple of things. First of all, saying, hey, thanks a lot for all you do each and every day. I think it's very important for us to continue to partnership on the world of safety. This is an area that we got to get right the first time, not the second time, but the first time. And any time that we step outside those boundaries and not get something right, the risk is too great to our employee base, to the world which we operate in, the communities which we serve. And so it's important that we continue to drive that right culture, that right DNA, and that right partnership. So again, thanks a lot for all you do each and every day. to making us better at what we do, making our partnership together better than what it is today and what it can become tomorrow. And just know that what we do today is only going to help our environment in many, many, many ways. And so keep up the great work. I look forward to working with you and partnering with you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Kennedy. My name is Olaya Ulloa, and I'm the European Safety Contract Risk Manager in Amazon, where I've been working for the last 4 years. Previously leading safety in Amazon Logistics in Spain, I had the opportunity to understand that contractors are key for the business and how critical contractor safety is and how to set up and share the right contractor safety expectations. For that reason, let me be excited to introduce you to the next speaker, Francesco Raveggi, who serves as an Amazon Director of Workplace Health and Safety for European and emerging markets customer fulfillment. In his role, he oversees a team of more than 2,000 safety professionals, managing safe operations at almost 130 sites worldwide.
Hello, everyone. This is Francesco Raveggi. I'm the Director for Safety Europe Fulfillment Center. And today I'm going to share, I hope, some useful information on how contractor risk management, it does fit with the management system and vice versa. Okay, so why a safety management system is important? The worldwide health and safety Amazon management system is based on ISO 45000, or its architecture is based on ISO 45000. ISO 45000 is a quite inclusive standard where the goal for safety are achieved not just by one party, but by everyone that concur to the site. So this means that it's not just covering or managing safety risks for workers, our workers, but it does include contractors, subcontractors, and visitors, as an example. So everyone really is concurring to have world-class safety performances. In this case, for contractors and subcontractors, it's important that, Amazon work together with you in a way that, exchanges of information on risks and controls are continuous, learning from incidents are shared, and hazardous situations are raised and closed immediately. Last but not least, ISO 45001 and the safety management system in Amazon, it requires strong leadership engagement and participation from employees at all levels. So the mechanism which is behind the continuous improvement and world-class safety performance is based on the PDCA, them in circle. And simply it starts by the conceptual planning, then performing the activity, verifying with the check if the activity is in line with expectations, and take action in case there are deviation in the execution. And it's a mechanism that is generating continuous improvement, and it's a mechanism that is helping the organization to collaborate. So how, if we zoom on how the CRM cycle, contractor risk management is articulated, we start always by defining what are the expectations in safety. And they are outlined in the planning phase in the special safety conditions. Special safety conditions are contractual, and they provide suppliers with clear safety requirements when performing the work on Amazon. And then, the languages, it's quite precise on defining what are the safety rules that are expected to be met in our locations. During the pre-qualification phase, number 2 in the slide, the suppliers are scrutinized on safety performances to be part of our supplier list. And the pre-qualification is performed via third-party platform, which is called Avetta. And this is part of the sourcing process. It's integral to the sourcing process. On the worker management, the process is used to ensure that suppliers on-site representatives have had proper Amazon safety training and are aware of hazards, which are the controls and mitigation steps, and which are the PPEs that are necessary to perform safe activity. On job planning, safe job planning in this case, the process used to identify potential hazards to supplier, Amazon, and visitors. So each step of the process is, analyzed to identify the risks and which are the controls that has to be in place to have a safe production. Then it's time to execute, and during the execution phase, there are pre-task meetings where the safety coordination is, defined to identify hazardous situation which derives from interferences. And this is a two-way activity where from our side, we share what are the risks coming from our operations, but from the contractors or subcontractor sides, we require that the risks that are introduced in our premises are defined, discussed, and then the mitigation put in place. Then at the post-project phase, we have a sort of post-mortem activity where we identify what it did work well, what should have worked better, and what are the actions that we should put in place for the execution of the next project in order to keep going with the continuous improvement cycle that I was sharing before in the slide before. So there are a couple of mechanisms that I would like to focus with you. They are the permit to work, PTW, and high-risk operation management procedures. And they are integral part of the contract risk management. So the high-risk operations are managed via quite simple but straightforward procedure. We have 20 high-risk operations that have been defined upfront, such as hot works, working at height, erected scaffolding, or working in active robotic field. And these activities has elements that needs to be brought in control during the planning phase. So the procedure defines which special conditions apply to the specific sites, which kind of additional requirements on top of the normal permit to work may be applicable to the specific high-risk operation. So the procedure provides flexible approach to accommodate to both routine and non-routine high-risk operations, not to introduce further administrative burden to the organization, but really to do a thoughtful planning. You remember the PDCA cycle. Then there is a standard training package that is meant to the site management and to the contractor contractor management competent people in order to identify which are the high-risk operation and how they should be managed at site level. And they will guide you during the execution. On the permit to work specifically, we collect, or the site team collect, in one sheet, what are the controls that must be in place, what are the risks that are being identified, and what are the activities that during the check. Sorry, we will need to do this. Okay, I'm sure you will be editing. So the permit to work standard template covers 3 key areas. It is a process to control hazardous work with significant potential to cause harm. It defines means of communication between site management, internal and external workers, enabling effective sharing of information between all parties. And it's a system of work normal practice in high-risk industries. So it's a standard work in high-risk industries. The permit to work system mostly focus on the bottom of a part of the hierarchy of controls, as you can see in the slide. More specifically on engineering, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment. Important to be shared with you is the fact that the permit to work has to stay and has to be available, readily available at the workplace. It's not okay if the permit to work is just standing in office or something. So what is the culture that we want to build together? Okay, as I said before at the beginning, the Amazon management system, it's quite inclusive. So everyone, each and everyone, from top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top, it contributes to safety excellence. So how we can work together on creating a healthy contractor risk management safety culture. Here are the opportunities. The culture has to be informed. As I said before, it's crucial that we exchange information in a transparent way so we can share with you what are the risks that are in our operations so you can inform your workers. But then we need to get information on the risks that you are bringing in-house, in our house, so together we can understand what are the interferences and how to mitigate the risk. We want to have a reporting culture. It is important that, incidents, near misses, or hazardous situations are timely reported to you, to your contractor representative, so we can take action together and learn from incidents or potential incidents, so we avoid or prevent repeats. It's important that we have a just culture. We need to attack the process, not the people, unless there is a gross violation. But really, it's important to understand what went wrong and why people or why workers did what they do. And then learning culture, we can learn from incidents, of course, and this is the basics on safety, but also we can learn from best practices. So it is really important that, we share each other what can work best to protect our people and your people and have an excellent safety performance. And then flexible culture, things are never going as planned. So it's important that, we understand or anticipate which are the changes and then make sure that we adapt our controls to the situation. There are, of course, risks, but if we have a healthy management system, all the risks that you can see in the right side are mitigated up front. And then, together, we can build the health safest place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francesco. My name is Amy Estrella. I'm a workplace health and safety contract risk program manager in North America. My role within the contract risk team is to partner with our construction and engineering teams in execution of requirements. To our attendees, I hope you are enjoying the event so far. I wanted to remind everyone to please use the chat function to ask any questions you may have. Next up, we will hear from Jeff Mew, Senior Manager for Workplace Health and Safety Programs at Amazon. Jeff is a certified safety professional and industrial engineer with 25 years of environmental health and safety experience. Jeff is currently responsible for workplace safety intelligence, systems, and excellence, called the WHS program, in North America customer fulfillment, supporting 281 sites. Thank you, Jeff.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here to share my perspectives about how to manage safety effectively for your projects and services at Amazon. Let's start with how to manage risk. Contractor performs routine or project-based work at Amazon. Some of these are considered high risk. For example, the cleaning crews use chemicals. Some of them could be hazardous to human beings if exposed chronically. Cleaning crew operates auger or trash compactor, which is actually dangerous, dangerous machine with confined space, electrical and hydraulic hazards. Other project-based contractors may conduct repair or installation, such as forklift maintenance, roof work, electrical work, or racking installation, etc. To successfully manage safety for your projects, it starts with the knowledge. One common issue a general contractor faces involves subcontractor or temporary workers they hire. The knowledge and communication challenges must be remedied. It's important that you know your team well and have a safe team. You must have qualified individuals to manage safety for your company. They shall have sufficient safety knowledge, be able to identify workplace hazards, and should be empowered to manage the project team and control hazards. Your supervisor on site should be knowledgeable on safety and be able to effectively manage safety for the project. As a company, you must also know the regulations and laws required for safety. That is absolutely critical. For the project, you should be able to anticipate safety hazards that could lead to injuries. This could connect to task, project scope, as well as activities at the job site. For example, your team might be working at a busy site with heavy material flow in Amazon, pedestrian or traffic, forklift traffic, or even robotic traffic. One disadvantage as a contractor is that you may not have a great understanding of the work environment. But it is very important that you get a handle on work environment, as it's critical for the safety of your crew. You may think about things such as 2 emergency exit routes from your site, who to contact for emergencies, evacuation assembly place, emergency disconnect, and log-out-tag-out points for the equipment you are going to repair. For medium or high-risk projects, you are required to prepare a project safety plan. You need to clearly understand the potential hazards of the project. So should your team. The rule of thumb is always to have a safety, written safety plan. Additionally, you are required to review the safety plan with Amazon prior to start of work. The review is an opportunity for us to partner together to ensure all risks are identified and mitigated. We have a saying in Amazon: know your plan and nail your plan. Ensure all workers understand their safe work plan and nail it. Now let's talk about incidents and incident investigation. Incidents happen. After incident happen, what do? First of all, we treat and console. We treat our associates, injured associates. We may need to notify their family members. Depends on the severity of the injury. You may be required to notify regulatory agencies. We also need to consider, contain, and implement immediate actions to control the workplace hazard, to prevent them from hurting other people. Lastly, we need to gather basic facts and supporting information. Incident scene management is very important as the first step of the incident investigation. We need to resist the urge to immediately draw conclusions. A lot of times we all walk into a situation with our strengths and expertise. We likely draw a conclusion that we believe that is the root cause. A lot of times it may not be. So that's why we need to have an instant deep dive team, which is a cross-functional team. With a cross-functional team, with people from different backgrounds, you would be able to minimize the bias when it comes to instant investigation. Depends on the severity and the complication of the incident. You might need to have people from engineering. You might need to have people from your training department. You might need to have people from even a third-party expert if your company does not have their level of expertise in certain field. But again, the instant deep dive team, a cross-functional team, would help you to minimize the bias, and more likely with the team, you'll be able to get to the true root cause of the incident. Now, let's talk about the Swiss cheese model, which is actually a quite popular model for loss prevention and safety management. You can see on the Swiss cheese model, we have different layers of Swiss cheese. In this model, we have unsafe act, we have unsafe condition, we have unsafe supervision and organizational influences. On the piece of Swiss cheese, what you can see are holes, right? You have big holes, you have small holes, but you have holes. That's why we call them that Swiss cheese. You have hazard on the right-hand side. You have hazard on the right-hand side. But when you have these pieces of cheese lined up, have holes lined up, allow the hazard to penetrate the whole system, then you have losses on the other side. That's how we get incidents or injuries. Let's say that you move one of these pieces of cheese a little bit and block the hazard, then you are not going to have the incident. So that's the whole idea of the Swiss cheese. But we need to understand that the Swiss cheese is a good representation of the safety management system. Or anything created by human, there's no way you have a perfect piece of cheese that have no holes. They are going to be in there. So the whole idea of the instant investigation is to examine all these layers of defense, identify the holes, reduce them, or fill them. So in that way, you have a much stronger management system to prevent the incident from happening again. Now, let's talk about the most common tool that we use for problem solving. That's a 5-why tool. The 5-why tool, a lot of times, when you look at 5-why, people start to ask questions from the problem statement and ask why 5 times. Every time, turn the answer into another 5. In theory, after you repeat that 5 times, it would be deep enough on something that would be considered root cause. However, as simple as this model, there are some limitations. The first limitation is a lot of 5 whys are done in a single thread drilling method. Why? People usually start the 5 why with unsafe behavior. Most of the incidents will have an unsafe behavior that triggered the incident. We only chase the unsafe behavior, ask why 5 times. Eventually, you are going to land on a conclusion that either the person did not follow the rule or there was insufficient training for the person. With that, we're not examining all the layers of Swiss cheese piece Swiss cheese layers on their in that model that's connected to unsafe condition, unsafe behavior, unsafe supervision, and unsafe organizational influences. If you do this in a multidimensional way, so look at the example here on layer 3, the level 3 here. Level 2 question actually got broken down into 3 different questions, and then from there, level 4 we expand further. So eventually, we are growing almost like a tree, and we are examining. We're looking at this from different angles, and eventually, we could have multiple root causes that are going to address different levels in different layers in that Swiss cheese model. That's a successful way of using the 5 why. So avoid the single thread drilling, because most of the time, if you do that, you are going to start with unsafe behavior. You're going to land with something related to unsafe behavior, which is usually not the root cause, and it does not reduce risk. It does not prevent the problem from happening again. Now let's talk about human error. As I said earlier, 99% of the cases, incidents, you look into that, you'll find out the human error is the triggering point. But is the human error the root cause? Not likely. It's very rarely the human error will be the root cause of the incident. Okay, so the substitution test here is we need to challenge ourselves. So when we say it's someone's fault, we need to challenge ourselves that could this happen to another associate with a similar background or in the same situation? If the answer is yes or maybe, then we need to definitely challenge the management system. What weakness in the management system allowed the unsafe behavior to happen? What's missing in the safety planning that allowed this to happen? Those are the things we need to challenge. We also have another saying in Amazon, that is attack process, engage people. Attack process, engage people. That's the way to prevent incident from happening again. Here is another model related to hierarchy of controls for the actions. Now, let's say that we have identified the root causes. Getting into this actions developed from the root causes, you can put them into the 5 different buckets here. Or upside down pyramid, you can see we have elimination, substitution, engineering control, administrative control, and PPE. There are different categories. Elimination, for example, will be something like you are supposed to install a piece of equipment overhead. But the action is to change the design to eliminate the overhead work, so you do not have to worry about full protection of your team. If the installation can be done at the ground level, it's an elimination of the hazard. The second level, substitution. An example would be something related to using chemicals. Let's say that you're using a special chemical to get the job done. That chemical itself is hazardous and toxic to the user. And then you found another chemical that is less toxic but can still get the job done. You start to use a new chemical for the job. That is what we call substitution. It reduces the risk. Engineering control. For contractors, most common type of engineering control is your machine guarding on your power handheld tools. So those machine guardings, make sure they are in place, they are in condition. Do not bypass engineering controls, because those are the designs preventing your body parts, like your fingers, getting into the machine and making dangerous contact with the moving parts inside the machine. Those are engineering controls. Administrative controls, that would be your training, that would be your policies and work instructions. The last level is what we call PPE, personal protective equipment. These are such as safety glasses, safety shoes, hard hats. These are the objects that are protecting people when incident happen. That will reduce the severity of the incident, but they are not going to prevent the incident from happening. When you look at all these different categories, think about the effectiveness. The elimination is the most effective, and the PPE is the least effective. Why? When you examine all these different categories, you realize that the factor determining their effectiveness is what I call the human participation. The more you require human participation in that solution, the least effective it will be. For example, in the first example about the elimination, if the high overhead work, high work is eliminated, you do not have to do that anymore, then there's no human participation required in that solution. You don't do high work, period. When it comes to lowest level, PPE, if you're talking about the full protection in that situation, you need to make sure people have training. You need to make sure PPE is in good condition. You need to make sure they fit. Then you need to make sure they are properly maintained. So there are a lot of potential failure points in there. When it requires human knowledge or human decision, then it's least effective because it could fail easily when someone make a wrong decision on that. So now let's get into a case study. I'm going to share two cases that happened in Amazon with you. The first one was a contractor came in to repair a compactor. The compactor was not working properly. It was leaking hydraulic oil. And the contractor came in. So he actually went inside the compactor and started to work inside to do the repair for 2 minutes before he was stopped by Amazon safety team when they walked by on shop floor inspection. They noticed that and they stopped the contractor. So what do you see in this case? Why it's a serious problem? It is actually a life-threatening situation. It has uncontrolled electrical and hydraulic hazard, confined space entry, and lone worker. Think about that. If the person was working inside this huge machine, and other person, or maybe the machine operator, came back from break and didn't see anyone nearby, he pushed the button to start the machine. There is an auger inside to crash their core gate. And if person was inside, the person could have been killed in that situation. So this one is clearly a planning issue. Another one, a contractor performing welding operation at the edge of the roof on the north side of the building. A person was working on an A-frame ladder at the edge of the roof. And when he came off the ladder, it was a very windy day. The strong wind actually blew his A-frame ladder off the roof and hit a vehicle at the ground level. So what do you see in this case? It is also a life-threatening situation. Roof work near edge, that requires full protection. Where was the full protection? And another question to ask is this kind of windy day a good day to perform work on the roof? It's also related to project planning. Now, let's get to talk about the partnership in safety. There are some policies about contractor safety in Amazon, and you are required to follow the policy. That will include getting clearance in a beta compliance system to be eligible to work for Amazon. And also for medium or high-risk projects, you are required to submit your project-specific safety plans. You need to discuss with Amazon in advance your plans, such as the needs for barricades in the work area and place to temporarily store tools and equipment. And also, you need to understand the Amazon's emergency procedure that is related to your project. You may need to apply for the work permits for specific high-risk tasks, such as roof work, high work, confined space, lockout, tagout, hot work. Some of those will require a permit before you can start to do the work. Amazon safety team may conduct random inspections to check for compliance to the Amazon specific safety conditions and safety plan. But it is your responsibility as the employer to make sure you have the knowledge and to manage your project safely. Lastly, I want to say that in this discussion, we have talked about managing risk, learning from incidents, and the partnership in safety. I have presented practices we have at Amazon and now deliver results. Safety is a partnership. We encourage you, our partners, to share your ideas and successes in safety. We are in this together. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kaya Sweeney, and I am a CMMS/IMMS for Law State Amazon. I'm glad to be a part of this team. I've been working for Amazon for over the past 2 years. Started off as an AR Tech 1, promoted to AR Tech 2, and then to a Service Tech 3, and now into my new role, the CMMS/IMMS. Our next speaker is going to be Maurice Johnson, Director in Safety of S&H Systems. Maurice Johnson has over 20 years of experience in material handling and serving 13 years at S&H Systems. As Director of Safety, Maurice oversees policy procedure improvement by tracking overall safety KPI metrics of daily operations. Take it from here, Maurice.
Hello, I'm Maurice Johnson. I'm the Director of Safety for S&H Systems. S&H Systems is a single source, full service conveyor system integration supplier. We've been delivering dependable material handling systems, software, post-sale support since 2002. At S&H, safety is at the center of everything we do. Our mission at S&H is to support companies with a safe solution, the right solution. Part of our mission includes analytical planning with choices and options to deliver our clients the safest material handling system possible, from first introductions, kickoff meetings, project planning, equipment delivery, and project commissioning. Today, I want to share with you some solutions S&H Systems uses to reduce safety-related risk with material handling systems on our job sites. Safety for S&H starts at the drawing board. During our design phase, we conduct a risk analysis to note where our clients, their employees, and our field personnel might encounter an unsafe situation. Then we review the processes, equipment, and work environments to make sure we've included every option that can prevent injuries, including egress, housekeeping, and strategically staged work area capacity. So why do we focus on these areas? Take egress in and out of an area, for example. Conveyor systems can be miles long with many twists, turns, overlapping conveyor sections, etc. During the design phase, we have to ensure that our clients have the ability to enter an area safely for maintenance and performance testing. If there's a bottleneck in a pedestrian aisle or a maintenance access area, a caught by or caught in safety incident could occur. Another example is automated industrial equipment such as robotic work cells or automated storage and retrieval equipment. There's very little human interaction within these areas, but there's no preventative safety measures in place, such as light curtains and safety perimeter barriers. A person could very easily enter these areas accidentally and become injured or actually killed by these devices. That's where the design phase is very important in the material handling process of any system. And lastly, during the installation phase of a conveyor system project, we must maintain a staging area for equipment as it comes in. S&H Systems has developed a pre-kitting shipping system that ensures buildable mixes of material is en route and on site to relieve congested workspaces and minimize any slips, trips, or fall opportunities. We choose equipment solution partners that also focus on safety, from ergonomics to noise and safer maintenance systems. Our vendors maintain up-to-date knowledge of OSHA and ANSI safety standards to maintain the highest levels of product safety, even as trends and specifications change. Today's technology gives us options for safer conveyors, material movers, personnel recognition, safety barriers, and so much more. Take, for example, conveyor from 15 to 20 years ago, with all the moving parts such as chains, springs, clutches. All these components made insurance carriers shudder to the dangers in performing simple maintenance. Now everything is controlled by photo eyes, Wi-Fi, cameras, and other things far too advanced for my knowledge levels. That's why I leave those presentations for the engineers. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still many moving parts to a material handling system. But with new safer barriers, limit switches, light curtains, and photo eyes that immediately shut off areas where maintenance is projected, we've come a long way in material handling, and I can only imagine what the future holds. All right, so we've talked about who S&H Systems is, but what do we do to mitigate unsafe situations in the beginning phases of material handling systems? What are we doing in the field to promote safety awareness? Every job site is assigned a dedicated safety officer who oversees the team's processes. Everything from safe approach, troubleshooting, to working in a live environment. Our field crews include OSHA 30 mechanical supervisors, site managers, and project managers, as well as OSHA 10 mechanical technicians. All employees are trained on forklift and scissor lift operations, fall protection, lockout, tagout, and many more. The training is conducted annually, and refresher courses are required as a need presents itself. Refresher training can be triggered from a near miss, such as a forklift driver that could have endangered themselves, or a forklift spotter in the area. Our employees know that their safety is our top priority, particularly during site installs. With the adoption of including site safety officers on project durations, we discovered another opportunity of improvement. Our site safety officers reported the possibility of tools being dropped from elevated scissor lifts in the area, and therefore S&H introduced the use of tool lanyards for drills and hammers to mitigate the risk of a tool falling from an elevated position and possibly hitting a fellow coworker or even a pedestrian down below. Also, going back to our pre-kitting process, as I mentioned earlier, this means that all existing and inbound equipment shipments are sequenced according to the build-out to avoid congestion, slips, trips, and falls. Our installs are more efficiently controlled, go up faster, and are installed safer. All of our employees and contractors must complete both our client and our own internal safety orientation program. Our safety programs constantly reviewed and revised when necessary. We're proactive, and our clients, such as Amazon, truly appreciate our approach to safety. When I think safety overall, the first thing comes to mind is complacency. The only person who can truly keep you safe is you. Every task an individual begins must start with a single question. How am I going to leave work today? Am I walking home? Or am I going to be carried home? It's all psychological, and your perception of safety plays the role in how well you perform the task. The moment you step foot on a construction site, a job site, an office building, you have to truly understand and accept that could be your last time. S&H Systems has partnered with safety-focused leaders just like you. S&H continues to adapt new and improved safety cultures into our daily operations, whether that's in the field, corporate offices and branches, or our remotely located offices across the globe. When you develop partnerships guided on the same moral compass as you, there's no denying. You have the ability to operate in the safest manner possible with honor, integrity, and value-driven principles. So you know without a doubt, you're walking home when the job is done to see your family and friends at the end of the day. Avetta allows S&H Systems and our clients, such as Amazon, to gather important safety data all in one place. Our customers have access and visibility to S&H Systems historical safety metrics, such as OSHA 300 logs, training certifications, EMR workers' comp ratings, total recordable incident rates, and more. All this data in one location streamlines the onboarding process for contractors, subcontractors, vendors, OEMs, both domestic and internationally. We're proud of our ratings, and even more proud to keep everyone productive, engaged, and most importantly, safe. Amazon has also contributed to today's safety culture that you see at S&H Systems. Jeff Mew, he touched on root cause analysis a few moments ago, and S&H Systems has learned and adapted those very processes into our deep dive investigation of first aid reports, near misses, and accident investigations. We're able to learn from these not as individuals, but at a team level that includes our site management, project management, field services, engineering, purchasing, and sales staff. A great example of how root cause analysis completely redesigned our installation process was our newly introduced decision tree back in 2020. S&H conducted a week-long review of some projects at Amazon that we were installing. We're installing a material handling system inside a facility that rarely sleeps, presents difficult decisions that have to be made. The projects presented S&H with areas of congestion, high pedestrian traffic, and tight quarters. We needed a way to retrofit key components of a conveyor system with a very limited downtime availability. By introducing a workflow decision process into our high-risk work environments, we're able to stage product and personnel with an advanced 72-hour notice to Amazon of what personnel and areas would be affected. And within 30 minutes to an hour into the scope of work, we could make that hard decision to halt work or continue, therefore giving Amazon the peace of mind knowing their facility is going to be turned over back in the time allotted for a safe return to work. In conclusion, by adapting Amazon, Avetta, and other client-proven safety policies into our normal work processes, our safety program becomes unique to other contractors. Our normal safety operations grow and adapt with our clients' programs. No matter where we work, by adapting and revising our policies with those of our clients, we're creating our new norm for all things safety. From the adaptation of decision tree process, root cause analysis, migrating toolbox talks from weekly to daily, and providing dedicated site safety personnel on all job sites for the duration of projects, S&H Systems is paving the way for conveyor system integration safety management. You will never hear anyone at S&H Systems say we're the best. We're great at what we do, and we'll continue growing and improving every day on new processes and procedures. When you become the best, you become comfortable, settled. When you've settled, you become complacent. And when you become complacent, you become a statistic. Thank you. And always remember, if safety doesn't start with you, then safety, well, it doesn't start at all.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for Amazon Supplier Safety Summit 2021. It has been a pleasure putting the event together this year, and we appreciate you tuning in to watch our amazing speakers. My name is Punreet Brar. I am WHS Pre-Qualification Manager with Contract Risk Management Team. I have been with Amazon for around 6 years in various roles, mostly WHS and in different regions. And it is my pleasure to introduce our talented panel we have with us for question and answers. These questions were asked by some of you during the registration process. We're not accepting further questions in the chat for this panel, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. We've got monitors who are going to help you out. So first up, we've got Mangesh Kolharkar.
Hey, Punreet, thank you. My name is Mangesh Kolharkar. My team is responsible for the build out of the transportation network in North America and EU. I've been with the company for 13 years, always been with the engineering group, and kind of seen the progress and efforts made by all the great suppliers and vendors who support us. So thank you for that.
Next up, we have Shelby Russell.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shelby Russell. Thanks to everyone for putting this event together. It seems like it's been fantastic so far, and look forward to the additional conversation. I've been with Amazon for 10 years in a fair amount of roles, starting in operations for the first 3 years, and then the last seven and a half years have been part of the project execution teams, engineering services, and various roles. Most recently with Mangesh's team in the construction execution space. So my team is responsible for building and delivering and turning over to our AMZL partners buildings across the southeast and central parts of the U.S.
Thank you, Mangesh and Shelby. Next up, we have Michael Sander.
Thanks, Punreet. My name is Mike Sander. I'm on the global supply chain, global procurement team. I'm a senior supply chain manager, and I've been with Amazon for about 3 years. I've spent a short amount of time in operations, and then been on the procurement team for about 1.5 years. And specifically, my primary focus area is with on-site service providers and outside service providers, which puts me in close relationship with the safety team. So I appreciate the event today, and everybody had a part in that, and thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, Michael. Next up, we have Ryan Rouse.
Thank you, Punreet. My name is Ryan Rouse. I'm with Amazon's Workplace Health and Safety team. My teams cover the high-risk operations that are going on in our buildings, whether that's done with Amazonians or done with our contractors. In the last year and a half, we've also been providing support to our construction safety initiative, as well as OpsTech IT. And been with Amazon for 5 years, and I'm excited to be part of the panel today.
Awesome, thank you. Next, but not last but not least, Nestor Benavides.
Thank you, Punreet. Thanks, everyone. It's a great pleasure of having all of you with us today. I can tell you that your investment in safety is the best thing that anyone can do. Again, just as Punreet mentioned, I'm Nestor Benavides. I have been with Amazon for almost 7 years now. I am the Global Contract Risk Manager, so my team is responsible for our contractor and subcontractor safety. And we are in about 17 countries by the end of this year, and of course we'll continue to grow by next year. So we're here to assist, we're here to help. We're excited that you're here with us, and we're here to answer some questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, panelists. So first question I've got, it's for you, Mangesh. what is the expectation for general contractors in regards to safety at construction sites?
Thank you, Punreet. I think it's a great question. When it comes to Amazon, signing up contracts with these GCs and setting up everything right from the RFP, we clearly call out the expectations. The GCs own the safety at the job site till TCO, till Amazon takes over. And what we're expecting out of these GCs in return is some assistance with dedicated support teams that they can allocate to safety. Safety is not a checkbox. Safety is not fill out the RFP question and then you're done. It's a safety culture that we want to make sure that these job sites that is being instated by these general contractors to make everybody kind of work in that environment and that culture that's the safest for the people. Nobody likes injuries, serious or even non-serious. If it happens on a job site, I'm sure it causes all kinds of issues for us. Sleepless nights, at least for me, when I see any kind of major incident happen, it makes us think about how can we do better, how can we save the folks who work really hard on our projects and make sure they go home safely. So that's kind of the expectation. I see Ryan's hand raised. I was going to say, feel free to jump in and kind of add more as we go, even though it's directed to me.
Yeah, so just to add to what Mangesh said, Heather said it earlier, but Amazon is the largest private investor in infrastructure in the United States with $36 billion. Construction is one of the highest industries for occupational fatalities. And as the largest private investor, fatalities are unacceptable to Amazon. So for all the general contractors on the line, all the subcontractors that help us build our buildings, we need your help to help us eliminate occupational fatalities. And moreover, Amazon, with your help, we want to continue to advance the construction industry and help to make improvements across the board. Because at the end of the day, those construction workers are literally the first thing that are helping us deliver smiles all over the world, and they need to go home to their families, period. So we appreciate all the efforts that our GCs do to maintain safe construction sites, and just know that Amazon is here as your committed partner to help us make that a reality.
Thank you, Mangesh and Ryan. Anyone else wanted to add anything on there? Sounds good. That was a really good response. Moving on to our next question. Is Amazon also, Shelby, this one is for you. Is Amazon also focusing on engineering solutions to safety issues during the design phase? For example, higher parapets should be standard column sleeves for concrete slabs to eliminate open holes after slab pours, etc.
That's a great question, and I'd like to say that we're farther along in that space than we currently are, but I know it's something that's at the forefront of Mangesh's team, my team, the pre-construction team's mind in terms of how we mitigate some of these risks. And as the general contractors and the subcontractors for Amazon, we work to identify the risk from, or we expect that you would identify risk from a project scheduling standpoint to provide Amazon visibility into those inherent risks and allow us to revise those approaches that we have. So I encourage, please be open with your construction managers, with your pre-con folks, anyone from Amazon that you're interacting with, so that we can make those Amazon construction site standards. I think from a project scheduling standpoint, one thing that always keeps me up at night is we're constantly asking you all to accelerate your timelines. I think everyone would fall over if we came to you and said, we need you to take a little bit longer, right? So having all of those people on site at one time, acceleration obviously equals more labor, equals more people hours, crowding activities happening at once, not only from our general contractors and the construction scope perspective, but from MHE and 3PL as well. So helping us understand what those risks are going to be when we have so many activities going on at once. That to me is something that we need to solve quickly, as we're not going to slow down in terms of our expectation for timeline. So any feedback is welcome, and definitely looking forward to sifting through that and seeing what we can do, not only from a design but an execution standpoint.
Thank you, Shelby. And I see, Mangesh, you have something to add?
No, I think that's a great call out, Shelby, that when we actually put more people in the job site, the risk profile does increase. And I think it's an absolute must for the GCs to kind of evaluate that and make sure that we are not cutting any corners. The expectation is never, when the schedule has been asked for, to basically cut corners of safety. Safety is the priority, and it always will stay that way. So I just wanted to double down on what you said over there.
Ryan?
Yeah, so looking at the engineering solutions, I think that this is an interesting part of the question because we do a lot to design in health and safety into our buildings once the building is operational. One example of that, you saw the video from Heather earlier about our roof safety controls to make sure that our folks can safely go up and work on the buildings, or the new relays to reduce or eliminate arc flash exposure. But what can we do during the construction process? What can we do to reduce work at heights issues or engineer out different high-risk operations? This is where we really need our GCs and for your ideas. And I think Mangesh said it perfectly, or maybe it was Shelby, but raise those with us. Raise ideas on what we can do differently during the construction phase to either eliminate or engineer out risk. I think we would be definitely open to having discussions and see what we can do. Co-innovation, I think, is what's going to make Amazon great.
That's a really good point, Ryan, and thank you so much, Shelby, Mangesh, Ryan, for that response. Next question, we've got it for you, Ryan. What are Amazon's expectations for suppliers in regards to safety?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think that you got to see some themes from some of our speakers today. And those themes are really highlighting what our core expectations are. In order for us to be Earth's safest workplace, we have to have you as a part of that, period. And those expectations are pretty simple. They are outlined in our contracts up front. They look a little bit different for an Amazon operating site than they do on a construction site. So just keep that in mind, right? On a construction site, the GC has safety oversight, and we work with the GC to kind of set the construction expectations. But on an operating Amazon site, the expectations are clear. Number one, you need to be pre-qualified in our Avetta pre-qualification system. This helps us make sure that your company has a good risk profile set up, that you've got good programs in place, and that you're meeting our minimum requirements. The second thing has to do with virtual orientation. So we have a really great updated virtual orientation that helps walk through the expectations as well as the hazards that are on our sites and what to expect that's specific to operating and working in an Amazon environment. You need to make sure that every single one of your workers or your subcontractor workers go through and take that training. The next is safety planning. So we heard S&H Construction earlier, and we heard Jeff Mew talk about this and Francesco talk about this. But safety planning is the core. And if you think through the hazards, you think through your safe methods, controls, and JHAs, the PPE that you need for the job, then you're going to have that work done up front. If you do it well, it's actually going to make you more efficient. You're not going to have to stop and go get something else or this or that. And you're going to have a safer result. Amazon's here to help with that. We've got our special safety conditions document, which is part of Avetta, and that you can see what our expectations are. But ultimately, you as the contractor own your means and methods, your safe means and methods for what you are going to do on site. And then lastly, you are a fresh set of eyes and ears. So you have stop work authority. That doesn't matter if it's your own contractors or subcontractors. That could be something going on at Amazon. You need to raise these issues to your POC. And if you have incidents, raise those to your POC as well, because that's going to allow us to work together, work backwards, learn from it. And between your company and Amazon, we can come out stronger as an end result. Oh, Punreet, I think you might be on mute. I think Michael raised his hand, and then Shelby.
Yes, thanks, Ryan. I know in a venue like this, we don't need to foot stomp elements on safety, but just to piggyback on a couple of things you said there, that expectations are simple and clear. I absolutely agree. I will say, having come from an industry prior to Amazon, that I felt that safety was forefront in everything that occurred. It still took me a bit of shell shock as I come into Amazon and see what real safety up front looks like and what real adherence to safety looks like. And speaking from a procurement role, I will tell you that many of our vendors, and I know that's obviously the audience that we have with us today, are also equally surprised at that. So the expectations are simple and clear. We simply don't cut corners when it comes to safety. Safety truly is at the very front. It's at the front end of how we're selecting vendors. And so just can't overemphasize that enough. And again, I know we don't need to foot stomp on that, but I do want to make sure it's very clear it's the first consideration.
Thank you, Michael. And Shelby?
And just to add to what Ryan and Michael both said, obviously the goal via you all's means and methods and robust processes is to prevent any incidents on site. Ryan spoke a bit about fatalities and the unacceptable nature in terms of Amazon and just the devastating effects that has. But in terms of incidents that we're going to encounter on job sites, I would challenge each of you and your teams. Amazon often asks, what is the root cause of this incident? And I'm sure you all working with Amazon have heard that before. We love that phrase and we use it probably daily. So I would challenge you and your teams, even if there's an incident or a process or something that Amazon's not necessarily involved in, get down to that level of why, where you can't ask why anymore. Get to those root causes, and it's going to do nothing but benefit you all, and it's going to benefit us as well in getting to the true cause of some of these incidents and making us better as a whole and hopefully preventing them. So even if we don't ask that, I would challenge and encourage you to proactively think about those things and find what kind of benefits that it can really provide.
Thank you, Shelby. And then I see a hand raised from you, Nestor.
Yes, the other call out that I have, which is great responses from the panel, is to remind our business partners, our contractors, GC subcontractors, that in reality, we are a global company. So what we are saying right now, what we're sharing with you right now, it's not only for North America or it's not only for the US. Our robust programs go across to EU and to Europe and to the UK and to the rest of the world. So all of these programs are meant to be global programs. So please make sure that you understand that, right? It's not just a small region. It's really globally. Each group that is represented here, either from a construction perspective or safety, we're all represented in the different regions also that you can reach out to just if you have any type of questions. So I want to make sure that we have the message that this is a global message, not just regional. So.
Thank you, Nestor. Thank you, all of the speakers. Really good responses. I think you might have answered my next question. I am still going to pose it one more time. Ryan, what are the expectations of me as a contractor when I see a hazard or unsafe conditions acts by an Amazon employee at Amazon facility?
Yeah, so yeah, I did already answer this one, but I didn't answer it in the context. I mean, I said it sort of, but I didn't answer it as in, what do you do if you see an Amazon associate also engaging in an unsafe act or condition? And the answer is, hold us accountable. Just like we're doing with you. Like, safety is universal and it doesn't matter. So you have stop work authority on our sites, period. And if you see something, say something, step up. Talk to your Amazon point of contact. If they don't handle it, then keep escalating, right? Like safety is that important. And only if all of us own it are we going to achieve Earth's safest workplace. Mangesh?
I think I was going to give a simple example of this. If folks can still see me on video, I'm standing in a job site in a corner. And I removed my mask for 2 minutes to show my face, and 2 people came and offered me a mask. So I'm not from this side. They're looking at me and they're calling me out. So it's perfect. Like, I'm going to put my mask on. This is how I'm going to talk. So just wanted to give the live example.
Thank you for the live example, Mangesh, and thank you for the response, Ryan. I think we've captured that point multiple times. See something, say something. It applies to everyone. Next question. It's for you, Nestor. What is Amazon's contract risk management program?
Okay, so I'm going to try to be as brief as I can, but we call it CRM, which is contract risk management, and we have 3 pillars within CRM, right? The first one is something that Ryan had already mentioned. We need to pre-qualify the companies and the contractors that we're doing business with, right? So please remember this model, because we're going to use it quite a bit. Also, is if you're turning a wrench in Amazon, you have to be in Avetta, right? You have to be registered. We have to know who you are from a safety perspective, and that is very, very important. So we recognize that every day we are injecting risk into our sites. So we also need to understand those partners from a safety perspective. Again, you have to be registered in Avetta. That you have to be pre-qualified in Avetta and be compliant in Avetta. The second pillar that we have as part of CRM is the fact that we have given you our special safety conditions. Now, all of our business partners, all of our contractors know and should understand what the expectations are from Amazon, right, on a safety basis. So this document brings clarity to our partners on how they should be conducting business within Amazon when they are on site. And then, of course, we talked about virtual orientation already, where all your crew should be taking a virtual orientation now, which is saving or should be saving a lot of time for your associates and for you to be ready to start to come to work, right? Your team will receive a virtual certificate and you're ready to start working. So also, part of that is, please remember that we need a job safety plan. We call it a job safety plan in NA, but in the other parts of the world, we call it permit to work, which is you need to understand the job that you're coming in to do. Your team should be trained to that job safety plan, and then at that moment we also need you to recognize the different permits that you have to obtain from an Amazon side, which is confined space or hot work or roof access, just to mention a few. So again, that second pillar is, now you're at our door, we need to understand the safety aspect of what you're going to be doing at our sites. And lastly, we really want all of you to go back home the same way that you came in at Amazon, right? We need to make sure that everyone is trained to that JHA or to that job hazard analysis or to that job safety plan or to that permit to work. And if you have any type of deviations, we're not saying that if you have some deviations, which usually happens, that there's nothing that you can do, right? All that you have to do is just go back to your job safety plan, modify it, work with your POC on site, understand the hazards and the risks that you have, and just retrain your team. So that third pillar or that third element is, we need to make sure that your team leaves our site the way that they came in. Mangesh?
Yeah, I think just doubling down on what you said, Nestor, with one comment, right? Complacence is the enemy of perfection in some sense. I think I typically hear like, oh, we've been doing this for 30 years. You know this so well. Yes, you do. Nobody's questioning that. But just like in any football game or whatever it might be, you build a playbook. You need to know what you're getting into. This checklist almost is that playbook. You know your job hazards to kind of enforce upon you. And I just wanted to kind of call that out. This is not about anybody's capability. This is about really, truly knowing what you're getting into on that day. And that's the difference and why we are very focused on making sure we're implementing the CRM.
That's a great one also, Mangesh. And something else that I want to make sure that I mention is one of the questions that we saw in the chat group is, this is CRM or contract risk management. It's not a brand new program, right? We have been doing this now for a couple of years in NA. Yes, we are progressively going into different business units and into different countries, but this is not a new concept for Amazon. If you're hearing this for the first time, then most likely either you're in a new region or you're in a new business line that we're just implementing the program in. But contract risk management is something that we have been doing for many years. We have formalized it now recently, well, not even recently, but going actually into our third year. So we're here to answer any questions and to help you with any concerns that you may have. Ryan?
Yeah, just one more thing. Amazon's contract risk management program is for Amazon. This is how we manage our contracts at an Amazon-owned or operated site. Again, construction looks a little bit different, but you might hear that term CRM, but in reality, it's just us making sure that those simple expectations that we've gone over today are being done every single time.
Thank you, speakers. Those were really great responses, and thank you, Ryan, for closing that off. Next question. Why do we have to pre-qualify subcontractors in Avetta? What are Amazon's expectations for subcontractor management? And this one is for you, Nestor.
That is a phenomenal question. That's a question that we have been fielding quite often in the last few weeks. And here's the thing. The thing, team, is the fact is that as Amazon grows, the need of subcontractors, we understand that, right? Those aggregators, GCs, contractors overall, we understand the need to add subcontractors to come in and do work at Amazon. So, we have almost 4,000 subcontractors in registered in Avetta right now. But why do we need them to be in Avetta? Because they are the execution arm of that aggregator or of that contractor. We also need to understand from a safety perspective, their performance, their safety performance. We need to ensure that we can mitigate any type of safety risks and the injection of risk into our sites. So that is very important. The second part of that is, we are expecting that aggregator to be responsible to add your subcontractors in as part of Avetta, right? Most of you would know that if you're an aggregator, you have an aggregator account in Avetta, all of these subcontractors are reporting up to you per se. And you also have a responsibility to, I really like something that Ryan just mentioned, is the fact, here's what we do at Amazon from an Amazon side, but we're also expecting our aggregators and our business partners to do the same, right? You should also be pre-qualifying your subcontractors, asking safety questions, asking about their safety performance, and also mitigating any type of risk that is being injected into our sites. Again, I'm going to repeat this one more time, but our motto is, if you're turning a wrench at Amazon, guess what? You must be registered in Avetta. You must be compliant before doing any type of work at our sites, and that includes your subcontractors. Yes, Ryan, go ahead, please.
Just switching gears to construction, and maybe Mangesh or Shelby want to chime in here, but when you look at the occupational fatalities, it's not the GC who is having the occupational fatalities. It's the subcontractors, it's the iron workers, it's the electricians, it's the folks working at height. So, Nestor, I think you said something really key there. They're executing the work. And actually, they're the most important people that we need to be looking at. The workers, the actual folks in the field turning the wrenches or doing the work. And that means that, if you are a GC or an aggregator or a direct partner to Amazon, we've cut the contract to you and you're bringing in subcontractors, you better make sure that they're meeting or exceeding Amazon expectations, right? Because at the end of the day, those are the ones who are going to get hurt if you don't.
Really good points, Nestor and Ryan. I do want to add something to this one. For subcontractor management, we've got a breakout session that teaches or kind of introduces you to a lot of aspects that you can join later. And one of the things I personally realized with subcontractor management when I joined this team, we've got contractors or aggregators that have more than 300 subcontractors, right? That's a huge, huge piece. And making sure those GCs are holding their subcontractors accountable, we're working on that, and we've been working on that, and it's just been amazing to see the progress for some of our aggregators. And if you fall in that bucket, Aveta's got some really great resources and training sessions, so feel free to join us in the breakout.
Yeah, great point, Punreet. Shelby, I think that you also have something to add.
Just one quick thing to add. I've often heard some confusion points at what point subcontractors, GCs are supposed to add folks into Aveta. At least the direction that we give on the construction side is at the completion of TCO, or temporary certificate of occupancy, or CO in some jurisdictions, they are required to enter their folks in Aveta. Because at that point, Amazon has safety liability for the site. So if there's any confusion on that, let's make sure that our folks are using that TCO milestone as the deadline for Aveta.
Really good point, Shelby.
Just one more thing to add to that too. So on the construction side, so Shelby, you're completely right. As soon as we go to an operating site and you have your subcontractors there, they need to follow now the contract risk management requirements. But on the construction side, right, the GC owns the site, and you go through, right, pre-qualification. We do have some of our high-risk contractors on the construction sites are now a part of Aveta pre-qualification. But long-term, we're going to be looking at ways of adding more trades into the pre-qualification process as it makes sense. Why? For the reasons that I just mentioned. At the end of the day, it's the subcontractors who are doing the work, and those are the ones that we've got to make sure have the right safety programs in place. So it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and we're going to continue to invest also on the construction side.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan and Shelby. Also going to plug in the construction breakout session where you can hear more on that topic. Next up, we've got a question from Michael Sander. How can my company get on a bid list to supply goods and services to Amazon?
Yeah, thanks, Punreet. And I know we're running short on time, so I'll be brief. But before I even get into that question, I would say, and maybe as a tag along of what we had covered in the construction space, when we're looking at our on-site service providers, I think probably a helpful question to understand even before getting into how do I get your company on a bid is what are we looking for, and obviously you're getting the clear, crystal clear message throughout the day today that safety is number one on the list. And so one of the elements I would say, especially on the on-site service providers for our support and facility maintenance and those type of activities that we have throughout our locations, we use the pre-qualification, the safety pre-qualification as part of our RFX process. So before we're getting into the bid discussions, before we're getting into an evaluation of a vendor's capabilities and the services, we are expecting that they're already aligned with Aveta at that point, or they're going through the process to get aligned. So that also helps us from an annual and off-cycle review process and many other follow-on reviews that we can ensure that there's appropriate safety on site. But specifically to your question, I would say it's not drastically different than what people would or what companies would find with other companies. So we obviously use a extensive RFX process for RFIs, RFQs, for requests for proposals. But one thing I would like to say, and in fact, for those that have been dialed in throughout the day, you heard my boss, the VP of Procurement, Kennedy Oates, mention earlier today about our Supplier Connect portal, and that's going to be a great way. We'll have that connection posted on the main Amazon page sometime within the next 30 to 60 days. But that's the perfect opportunity to connect, identify your capabilities, your skill sets, and to start the discussion on safety and other elements of your company. So you can also, in that platform, identify all the requests for services and commodities that we're looking for. So certainly be on the lookout for the link with that. But another way to stay connected is through our category managers. And there's easy ways to connect with them throughout our business connections as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Looking forward to Supplier Connect 30 to 60 days. It's an amazing, awesome project coming up. Next question for you. What is Amazon's plan to support small and disadvantaged businesses within their business strategy?
Yeah, so I'd say there's a couple of different avenues that we're pursuing with that, and again I'll pin back on I think my boss had indicated a couple of these items up front, so you're probably hearing it multiple times, which is indicating that it's priority and focus area. In fact, it was one of the three, if I recall correctly, it was one of the three primary areas where he was identifying that we're focused on, and I see the message that we're running short on time, but I'll say this from a technology standpoint, we're looking for tools, Supplier Connect, one of which, to make it easier for vendors to connect with us and to identify small and disadvantaged business affiliations. Two, we're also continuing on with tools that we're already using to identify businesses, so our category managers can find those businesses that we want to partner with. And then also, just from a mechanism standpoint, we've added additional resources on our procurement team. And in fact, in the last 6 months, we've built a vendor diversity team that will help us to better identify, partner, and move towards the proper increase in both sales and number of vendors that we partner with. So there will be even more opportunity going forward with this respect.
Thank you, Michael. That sounds really exciting.
One comment on this. I think Michael nailed it. I think we are really going big on the diversity aspect of suppliers as well. I think we are kind of proactively also giving leads to Michael and the procurement team on this. So definitely something at the top of the minds along with the safety aspect.
Thanks, Mangesh. Correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you so much for your responses and time. Over to you, Sean.
Thank you, Punreet, Shelby, Ryan, Nestor, Mangesh, and Michael. That was a really great Q&A session. Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Cohen, Contract Risk Program Manager. I joined Amazon in June with 13 years of safety experience, both domestically and internationally. Before we go on break for about 15 minutes, I want to provide the breakout session instructions for when you return to break. We're going to have 2 30-minute breakout sessions. There are 4 topics or rooms to choose from in each 30-minute session. You may choose from the following sessions. Room 1 will be on management systems. This is a 2-part session, and you'll be able to learn what common management system procedural gaps Avetta has found specific to Amazon's contractor base and how to resolve these gaps to improve your management system and safety procedures. Room 2 will be on construction. This is also a 2-part session. You'll be able to learn about the 3PQA program, BOLT, and root cause analysis. Room 3 will be on subcontractor and aggregator accounts in Avetta. This session will be repeated twice. General contractors and aggregators will learn about different account types in Avetta, how to request this account type to be set up, how to add subcontractors to these account types, and much more on subcontractor management using the Avetta system. And then our last room, room number 4, is on the special safety conditions and JHA best practices. The session will be repeated twice as well. The Amazon Special Safety Conditions, or the SSCs, provides our third-party partners with safe work practice expectations when working at Amazon facilities. The job hazard analysis is a required component of the safe work planning. This session will cover the importance of the Amazon Special Safety Conditions and how they impact JHA development. They'll also provide an overview of the SSCs, how they're used to plan work, and the recent 2021 updates, and also what makes a good JHA. In case you're interested in viewing multiple breakout sessions, these sessions are all being recorded, so you'll be able to go back and view any material that you may be interested in watching after today's summit. We'll be sending out links to everyone in the next couple of weeks with replays and links to view all the content. When you head to break, please log out of this channel and choose your first breakout session channel by clicking on the room link below. So if you scroll down on your screen, you'll see the different room breakouts. And when the first session is complete, you may either stay on that channel to listen to that topic's second session or pick a new topic or channel. Please use the chat feature to engage with the presenters in the breakouts. Thank you and enjoy the breakouts.